So you want to boldly go where no student has ever gone before? Well, you're in luck because the brave researchers of Japanese Twitter have figured out how to see the stars with only a fistful of sausages and a dream. And a very specific setup. The breakthroughs in spaceflight were discovered by scientists under the hashtag Sandwich Bakuhatsugaku, or Explosive Sandwich Sciences. There's a link to their findings in the description. I also did about 10 hours of experimentation at my own lab, which is why the footage will flip between Japanese and English. Let's international collaborating. These experiments were conducted on the 1.2 version of the game, which is the current version as of March 9th, 2023. These results may be reproducible on previous versions, and they might be on future versions, but spaceflight is 100% possible on patch 1.2. Now, let me be clear. A ridiculous, harmless bug like this should not be a priority to fix, and does not make Pokémon Scarlet and Violet bad games. The rest of the game makes these bad games. I don't think there's an accepted name for this glitch, so I'm calling it Subspace Emissary. If you can think of a better name, post your research in the comments below. Final disclaimer, funding for the Paldean Space Program is provided by the mighty Patreons you see on screen now, and by viewers like you. Let's launching. The supplies. The first thing any astronaut needs is supplies. I'll be breaking them down into required and recommended. The first item is fuel. We'll be using sausages. Hundreds of them. These can be either chorizos or herb sausages. I myself used chorizos, as did all of the Japanese scientists, but herb sausages should also work. I will actually now flash you an image of me and my herb sausages. The reason everyone uses chorizos is because of funding issues. Chorizos cost 150 Pokédollars each, while herb sausages cost 400 Pokédollars each. So you end up paying over twice as much for the same product with no real benefit. Some might even argue that chorizos are better. You'll also want to buy lots of condiments and sandwich picks. The variety does not matter, but you can't initiate a sandwich without at least one sauce and one pick per attempt. Next, you'll need an exercise ball. Now, I know you're about to Google the location because why would you ever buy one of these? But don't worry, I did the research for you. The exercise ball is available in Lavincia, which is Iono's city. If you're afraid of cities and the brutal frame drops they come with, don't worry. Patch 1.2 implemented a fix. Let's hit the streets. Great city. You can really feel the hustle and bustle. God, it looks like there should be Redeads in the background. And yeah, the performance still sucks. Anyway, the shop that sells the exercise ball is in the southern area. Finally, you'll need not an item, but rather a skill. Fittingly enough for space exploration, it's the climbing skill. You'll learn this late in normal gameplay, but if you haven't finished the game, or if you paid $35 US for the new game minus mode, you can easily learn climbing within about 2 hours of starting the game. You'll have to defeat the Sky Titan to learn swimming, and then the False Dragon Titan to learn climbing. Luckily, all of the Titans can be cheesed by one salty boy. If you have a sturdy knuckle stack, you can apply Salt Cure to the Titans, which will drain their health while Sturdy and Big Pharma keep you alive, allowing you to easily claim the Herba Mystica and their benefits. By the way, did you know that Herba Mystica abbreviates to HM? Just like Hidden Machines! Isn't that such wacky trivia? Like and subscribe! As for optional items, you can choose to use a large item such as potato tortillas or hamburgers for an advanced technique. But just like with real space expeditions, cargo is limited and fuel is precious. A tortilla will take the place of 3 sausages, which I would not recommend if you're attempting a solo launch. Which brings me to the second recommended item, friends. Additional classmates, up to a total crew of 4, will prove incredibly helpful since everyone contributes their own sausages to the festival. Although it is possible to reach outer space on your own, it is incredibly difficult and tedious. The novelty will wear off long before you see the stars, believe me. It might actually be easier to become an astronaut in real life. However, recruiting crewmates does come with 2 major downsides. 1, it requires you to have friends in the first place, and 2, You're asking them to play a Pokemon game on the Switch, so they might not be your friends for much longer. The setup. There's only one spot in Paldea where launches are authorized. Start by flying to the Pokemon Center at West Province Area 1 Central. You might say that this is a bland, soulless way to name locations in your open-world game, but we'll be generous and say it's scientific. Please look forward to Ember and Flamethrower being renamed to Fire 1 and Fire 3. Let's just pretend the area is called Valley Windworks. After you touch down from your vanilla flight, you'll need to head northwest. Silly student, that's not northwest. I know it can be confusing since the map orients to your character and not a compass. You can solve this by pressing R3 to lock the map north, but it would be nice if I could go 20 seconds without wading through piles of Paldean Tauros shit! Once you're on the cliffs to the northwest of the Pokemon Center, you'll see 3 windmills. You have to climb the second one, the one without stairs, which is why we needed the climbing ability. This platform will serve as our launch pad, but we have a bit more prep work to do first. This is the most finicky and tedious part of the entire process. You're going to set up your picnic such that the pillar below the turbine is clipping through the top left of the plate of the sandwich minigame. This is a good time to strap in and start cutting U's or something because you're gonna be here for a while. The placement can be very fickle, and as you'll see later, you won't know if your angle launches successfully until several steps later, so get used to placing and packing up. The most frustrating part of this is that in order to check if the plate is positioned properly, you have to move forward and begin the sandwich simulator, making it very difficult to return to the original position you set up the picnic from. When minute fidgets can throw off the entire trajectory of your launch pad, this is a big deal. And if you have Joy-Con drift, just forget about reaching for the stars. The Paldean space program only accepts those in peak physical condition. Once you have just enough on your plate, we can begin the next step.
Are you on the ball?
Wow, what's this?
Get on the ball!
Toss the exercise ball towards the table, then crash into the ball and the table, and you should freak out and teleport onto the picnic spread. This might take a few attempts, but it's not rocket science. You'll get it eventually. Make sure you're facing the pillar, then buckle up. We're going to outer space. Maybe. Probably not. Building the sausage space elevator is extremely difficult. It takes a combination of skill in placing both the launch pad and the sausage rungs, and also a whole lot of luck once the camera gets kooky. For ingredients, you always want to max out your available sausages, but if you're in a group with sausages to spare, you might want to try the potato tortilla tech or the hamburger helper. By using either of these premium foodstuffs, you can clip into the base of the bread and flip it towards the pillar. There's no technique to this, just select the food and move it towards the bottom of the bread. It'll clip through automatically. This crap just happens as you try and play this game. Now, why would you ever want to do this? The game will despawn any ingredients that aren't on the bread, so by smooshing the bread against the pillar, you create a much more stable base for your sausage space elevator. It's still far from reliable though, as many of your sausages will be flung against the pillar in vain as you try to get the first rung to stick. I found that the creases of the pillar were the most receptive, and although you want more than just the tip, don't get too eager. Phasing about halfway in worked best. Even in the fail cases, you at least get to enjoy some scintillating sausage ASMR. Once the first sausage takes hold, the rest of the climb becomes easier. The camera angle will shift, along with the correct placement of the next rung, but the pillar has already been subdued, and will not reject incoming sausage as zealously as it did at first. There's no advice I can offer you here, since every expedition has a different correct angle. You just need to keep trying. But hey, we choose to do these things, not because they are easy, but because they are hard. Climb high enough and you'll find that your world has turned upside down. This is also how you'll evolve Inkay once he's freed from Pokemon home arrest. This is where most of my attempts crashed and burned. With the camera reversed, it can be difficult or impossible to see the seam used as a guideline, so you'll end up losing a few or all of your remaining sausages to guesswork. If you can luck out and reach this height, then congratulations, you're going to space! Probably. By this point, your fate is already sealed. You either have enough sausages left or you don't. Serve this student a sausage to the noggin and you'll be rocketed upwards. The spear pillar looks a little different than I remember. At this point, you don't have to worry about the sausage space ladder. All you have to do is spam drop sausages, with each one discarded launching you higher and higher until finally...
Success!
That's one small step for Pokemon, one giant leap for Pokemon kind. Long ago, I heard that we all live in a Pokemon world. I never understood what that meant until today. It also looks like Team Aqua were the winners in the end. So that's how a humble student like you can blast off into the heavens. And if you see Director Omori up there, tell him to fix the damn game before selling it.